Okay, so my name is William. Today's video is called yeah. What does the Bible say about Jupiter? Okay, so now today I'm going to talk about the planet Jupiter. Okay, now so now I'm going to talk about each Jovian planet one by one. So I'm finished because I already talked about the terrestrial planets. Mercury. I talk about the sun and the moon, and then I talk about the terrestrial planets. Which will be Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And then I talk about Vesta and Ceres. So Vesta, that's the biggest asteroid, and also and then we talk about and then Ceres is just a dwarf planet that's between even though and Ceres is a dwarf planet, even though both Vesta and Ceres are both between Mars and Jupiter. So so that's what we know. So now today I'm going to talk about the planet Jupiter. Now it's the largest planet in our solar system. It has a lot of moons, that's for sure. It probably has like about 80 moons. Or it could have more. Well, it could have more moons than we discovered. So it could have 90 or it could have 100 moons. So you don't know that. Or it could have like about 100 moons. Because we don't know how many. Because there might have been moons we never discovered on Jupiter yet. So it could be true anyway. But this planet also proves the Bible. Now, why? Well, first of all, Jupiter has a gigantic magnetic field. Okay? And also it has a great red spot. Now, Jupiter does have rings, but not as much as Saturn, so I'm not sure if you want to count that. But it shouldn't have, but of course it shouldn't have rings if it was billions of years old, so. Well, let me tell you something, okay? If Jupiter was billions of years old, it should have been cooled off right now. And why? Well, first of all, Jupiter is losing more heat than it's getting, so it's cooling off. And it's because Jupiter is so far away from the sun. That's why. So that's why. It should have been cooled off by now. And also, Jupiter should have lost its great red spot if it was billions of years old. Well, the great red spot on Jupiter is a superstorm, and it can probably only last for thousands of years, but not for billions of years. So to me, if Jupiter was billions of years old, it shouldn't have its great red spot anymore. And also, Jupiter shouldn't have its magnetic field anymore either, if it was billions of years old. So, because even that being, if you're gigantic like that, it's not gonna last forever either. So, to me, evolutionists are wrong about their billions of years. Okay? Okay? Jupiter is only thousands of years old, just like what the Bible teaches. So Jupiter is only about 7,000 years old. Okay? Yeah, and if you don't like it, look, if you don't like this teaching, then just go away and leave me alone. Okay? Because I don't want to talk to you if you're going to argue with me. Okay? You can dislike this video all you want, but if you're going to argue with me, then just go away and leave me alone, because I don't want to talk to you if you're going to argue with me. Okay? I don't care if you dislike the video. Because you can do that all you want. So the solar system, Jupiter, by Jason Lyle. Okay? That's what we know of, okay? So, now, I'm glad that nobody is thinking about colonizing the gas planets. What we know about gas planets is that they have no solid surface, and which is true. Now, they might have a solid core, which we know of, so I'm glad the atheists are not thinking about colonizing the gas planets. Happy for that. But why colonizing the terrestrial planets that are not habitable? Well, yeah. Well, it is true. Atheists are not talking about colonizing Jupiter though, but are talking about colonizing Jupiter's moons, which would be like Europa, Ganymede, you know, and some other ones. I'm not sure if they're thinking about colonizing. I don't think they're thinking about colonizing Io, but I don't know. But a lot of those moons are so cold, but most of those moons are just too cold to survive. So if you want to colonize, if you want to colonize Jupiter's moons, go ahead. Okay, go ahead and do it. But I'm staying here on Earth. Okay, but I'm staying here on Earth because I'm very comfortable here. Because I'm very comfortable here on Earth. Okay. Okay. So. Okay, so our solar system. So, okay, so that's why. So let's go find out what Jupiter is. Okay, the planet Jupiter is a wonderful example of the creativity of the Lord. It is remarkably different from the worlds we have, except in Pacific Impact series. Jupiter does not possess a solid surface, but an enormous surface of gas, 11 times the diameter of Earth, held together by its own gravity. The gas pressure increases dead, eventually becoming liquid. Now, now people have been talking about exoplanets are bigger than the planet Jupiter. But I'll talk about that in a different video, okay? Because that's a different thing. Okay. Okay. So now the properties of Jupiter. Okay. The fifth planet away from the sun. Jupiter is the okay. Now before we can get to this one, I forgot to show you something. So let's talk about what Jupiter is called in different languages before we move on. So I forgot to talk about that too. And you can also find out what Jovian planet is in different languages as well, not just Jupiter. So, well, I forgot to say that too. So, well, let's find out what Jovian planet is in different languages, and then we can do Jupiter after. Okay, so Jovian planet. Jovian planet in Spanish is this one.
Planeta Joviano.
Planeta Joviano. Okay. Now, in French.
Planète Jovienne.
Okay. Planète Jovian. Now, yeah, it does sound different in Mandarin.
星星球。
Okay, I do have a Mo Xing Xing, but not Mo Xing Xiu, so. So let me fix this, guys. Because I have Mo Xing Xing Xing, but not Mo Xing Xing Xiu, so I think that's just something so Google Translate taught me something else here. I'm gonna go Google Translate again, guys, and fix this, okay? Okay, now I got it correct. So now I had Mo Xing Xing Xing, but not Mo Xing Xing Zhou. So that's why I didn't have. So I don't know why but that's what showed me. That's what Google Translate showed me. So this is what Google Translate showed me right here. So okay, so now I fixed it. Okay. There. Now here is an Arabic.
كوكب جوفياني.
Kubopogiani. Okay, that's how to say Jovian planet in Arabic. Next one, Japanese.
木星.
Okay. Yeah, okay, Moxie. I don't have Moxie, so. Moxie got to Wakisi. Okay, Wakusi. Wakusei. But not Makusei, so. That's just what Google Translate showed me. Okay, now I fixed it. Okay, there. Chiku save for terrestrial planet. Okay. It's called B. Now for seat 6. Okay, now Korean. I did got correct.
목성 행성.
Okay, Mosong Song is how to say Jovian planet in Korean. Now we can get to the planet Jupiter. So now Jupiter in Spanish. It's spelled the same, but it's pronounced Jupiter.
Júpiter.
Yeah, it's pronounced Jupiter. And Jupiter it sounds the same and it's spelled the same in French,
Jupiter.
but it's pronounced Jupiter. But here's where Jupiter sounds different, because Jupiter in Mandarin is
Muxing.
yeah, it's Moshing. Okay. Arabic.
كوكب المشتري.
Yeah, I don't think I have that. I'm Masterani, but not Masterani. Okay. Okay, so yeah, no, Malkuth is Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter in Japanese is
木星
yeah, Malkusei. So I'm not sure it's showing Jovian planet, but I can fix this. So yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing. I'm not sure Google Translate is showing this. So but you can, but I guess I can worry about that later. Can use Jupiter in Korean.
목성,
Okay, both songs has to Jupiter in Korean. So now, okay, so now we're done talking about Jupiter in different languages. Now we can talk about the properties about the planet Jupiter. Okay. Okay, so now properties of Jupiter. So now the fifth planet away from the sun, Jupiter it's composed of primary hydrogen, helium, and same gases as that comprise the sun. However, the much cooler temperature of Jupiter allows formation of molecules such as ammonia, water, and methane from various trace elements, like compounds of Jupiter's colorful cloud formations. Jupiter is massive, equivalent of 318 Earths, which could be put on a scale, but it weigh more than twice as much as all the other planets combined. Jupiter is so massive that gravity slightly, but noticeably affects the motions of other planets. Astronomers must factor their computations in practicing the precise positions of planets. Notice its large size. At this side, the disk of Jupiter easily visible, virtually any small telescope or even good binoculars, despite the 500 million miles away from Earth. The number of Jupiter's properties is consistent of the biblical age of 6,000 years, but it's difficult to explain the explaining the frameworks, the multi-year billion-year solar system. One needs a strong magnetic field. These magnetic fields naturally decay with time, and it's hard to estimate how Jupiter could maintain such a powerful field over billions of years. Another negation is Jupiter's internal heat. Jupiter emits nearly twice the amount of energy that recedes from the sun. Like popcorn fresh out of the microwave, planets gradually cool and they radiate heat into space. Jupiter is large enough to do this for thousands of years. But if it were billions of years old, Why hasn't cooled off by now? Now, views of Jupiter. Jupiter is an ideal target for a small backyard telescope. The planet is easy to find because it's extremely bright, and only Venus is brighter. Jupiter shines through the most light-polluted city skies and only puts on a good show. Detailed features are good to viewers. Powerful winds, such as colorful belts, and the zones encircle Jupiter of the equator. Belts are dark brownish orange features, and zones are light in color. Like Earth's jet storms, these clouds mark a rotation of Jupiter's atmosphere. Now, typically, the northern and southern equatorial belts, the sandwich of Jupiter's equator, are most visible, but the larger telescopes are under viewing conditions. It's impossible to see the inner belts, and perhaps of the distance are taking place within them. Surprisingly, these cloud formations are dynamic, changing from year to year, growing and shrinking slightly, experiencing notice the changes in color. Occasionally, a belt disappears completely for some time. This happened for Severan equator belt in 2010, making the changes in appearance of Jupiter. The belt returned in 2011. But it never looks exactly the same way twice. The Jupiter is always fun to watch. The Great Red Spot, a large, somewhat permanent features below of the Jupiter's southern equatorial belt is of entrance. The Great Red Spot is a storm vortex, usually a hurricane, roughly twice of the width of the Earth. Hurricanes on Earth, that's power for more water dissipate of the more overland, however. So Jupiter has no land, and its great spot continues indefinitely, at least 349 years old. This magnificent storm was discovered by Robert Hooke in 1664. Before this time, the telescopes are not objectively sufficient to discern the features of the red spot may actually be older. Despite its name, the Great Red Spot could be more than orange of a color changes with time. In the 1990s, it had turned to a light pink color, reducing its contrast and making it very difficult to see through backyard telescopes, so it has darkened since then. The spot is not always easy to see. The Jupiter rotates, so the red spot's on its other side of the planet, and it's possible to see 50% of the time. But even everywhere facing side of Jupiter, the Great Red Spot is hard to see near the limb and the edge of the disk. The best view is the spot is at the transit of the horizontal center of the disk, and are occurring so predictable a month to in advance. Viewers are coming in transit times posted on various Army websites. Jupiter rotates less than 10 hours, faster than any planet. This rapid rotation, combined with the extraordinary size of Jupiter, causes the planet to approach the equator. Even a distant backyard telescope, it is clear that the Jupiter is not exactly round, but such a rapid rotation means that now view Jupiter twice as one evening, separated by a couple of hours. But you will get very different view, but second pass, since Jupiter will only give 1/5 of its rotation. This effect could be noticeable when the red spot is near Jupiter's center. Now, the Galilean satellites. Jupiter itself has a wonderful view of a small telescope. Of the struck by presence of the beautiful bright stars that always near Jupiter, aligned with its equator. These are moons, natural subjects over Jupiter. They always appear naturally straight line because the orbital plane, Jupiter's equator, of the Jupiter system, near the edge on. This is a reason a frisbee looks a straight line. When you look at reviewers by side, these 4 moons may be brightest seen binoculars. These are moons that discovered orbiting another planet, discovering our view of the universe. Before Galileo constructed his own telescope in 1609 and began peering into heavens with one hand, discovered the possibility of that other planets could have moons. As far as we know, that simply the moon is that orbits Earth, and one-time astronomers believe that everything orbited Earth, including the other planets and the sun. But it is known as geocentric view. When Galileo will point his telescope at Jupiter, it was not discovered that 4 new worlds that have never known by anyone other than God what have moment have it been, but observing these moons after night, you can clearly see that they were opening Jupiter, and their strong refuted the geocentric claim everything must orbit around Earth. Galileo was clearly a counterexample of the putting away increased acceptance of heliocentric solar system, notion of planets, including Earth and orbit the Sun, and honored that they're discovered. These 4 moons are called the Galilean satellites. In order in increasing the overall distance from Jupiter, Galilean satellites are named Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. These gaseous Jupiter, these moons are solid bodies. Compared to rocketized Jupiter has moons of a mature system, with its inner moons are moving faster than the others. And Io takes about 1.77 days to orbit Jupiter, and orbit periods of Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto are 3.55 days, 7.15 days and 16.7 days respectively. Notice pattern Europa is twice as Io. Each period is twice that of Europa, and this is really a Boreal Renaissance. Callisto alone is not a Renaissance using a small telescope. It is possible that you actually see moons orbiting over time, but if you made a careful mental note of positions of the Galilean moons, to a moment of looking again an hour later, you might notice the locations are pretty change. These celestial body objects change the energy of a short time is a rare delight. Okay, the Galilean moons are comparable to the size of Earth's moon. Io is 2,264 times the diameter, 5% than the moon. Europa is 10% smaller than our moon. Callisto is 30% larger. Ganymede is the largest moon in our solar system, and at 50% larger than the Earth's moon. Ganymede is even larger than the planet Mercury. So, if the moon is orbiting the sun directly instead of Jupiter, it is certain to be classified as a planet. But due to its larger area, Ganymede appears to be noticeably brighter than Io and Europa, and is simply brighter than Callisto. Each of the Galilean satellites are amazing world, but Io is clear of the winner in terms of its qualities. High-resolution images of Io by the Voyager spacecraft in 1979 revealed that the contrast of all the other known moons. This moon has absolutely no impact craters. Instead, it's discovered as sulfuric compounds that it's responsible for coronal surface. Volcanoes pervade the surface of Io, and some are even taller than Mount Everest. The eruptions are most consistent, repeatedly covering the surface of volcanic material, erasing any previous record of impact craters. Io is the most volcanically active world in the solar system. When Voyager 1 flew past Io, they combined volcanoes erupting simultaneously and conditional stretching of occurring during every 3.55 days. When Io passes between Jupiter and Europa, seems to provide the eternal energy required for Io's volcanism. Now, more moons and rings. Galileo's telescope was quite small and limited, comparable to modern binoculars. The centuries that followed, the astronomers discovered that additional fainter known moons, with aid of high quality telescope and spacecraft. At latest count, Jupiter has 67 known moons, more than any other planet aside from the Galilean satellites. And these moons are very small, generally only a few miles across. Based on their properties, these moons are fall into 8 natural groups. So this group has only 4 moons, are any closer to the Galilean satellites of Jupiter. But the orbits of the inner moons, or orbits of the Galilean moons, are only circular, the same plane Jupiter's equator propagate. When you any orbits the direction Jupiter rotates. The next 7 beyond Callisto are also progate, and orbits of the to be tilted initially. The rotative Jupiter's equator is more elliptical than those of the inner moons. The remaining 52 moons are also tilted elliptical orbits, but amazingly they are retrograde, orbiting the opposite direction of Jupiter's rotation. So the region of where these moons orbit in one direction and separate of this region of the orbit the other way. This reduces the possibility of collision and close gravitational perturbations. Jupiter also has a system of rings like Saturn that we first discovered in 1979 by Voyager 1 spacecraft. These rings are much less than Saturn's, however. They're too faint to be seen by the backyard telescope. The main rings consist of the dust particles orbiting the meaning around and inside the orbit of Jupiter's innermost moons, Metis and Adrastea, and even thinner, Gossamer ring, and extends farther out. Now the conclusions. Now, what we know now about this fascinating planet that was hidden from humanity for thousands of years to our distant ancestors. Jupiter was a bright point of the light of our night sky. Who would have imagined this bright star who would have so many remarkable characteristics? And what other celestial secrets has the Lord hidden for us to find and cherish? Okay. Okay. So that's what Jupiter said what the planet Jupiter is about, okay? Now I want to try to get safe according to the Bible. So the point of evolution is a damn souls to hell. And also the point of the flat earther is a damn souls to hell as well. The goal of heaven is to believe all Lord Jesus Christ. Salvation is by faith alone, grace on Jesus Christ alone. And once we are saved by easy baptism is the truth, meaning you can't lose your salvation. Once you're saved forever, and easy believes, I mean that salvation is easy. All you do is just believe in Jesus Christ for salvation. And I'll talk about the next video is why is Jupiter cooling off? I'll talk about the next video. I'll talk more about that next video, okay? Go right now, so you can be watching this video or be just a bye.